Look at this. This woman has completely lost it. She's been trapped on a plane for 12 hours straight. Just when despair was setting in, a small island suddenly appeared in the distance, giving her one last glimmer of hope. But as she prepared to pilot the plane down to the deserted island, she discovered the aircraft was out of fuel. Turning around, she saw that the fuel tank line had ruptured and was leaking oil. The plane was still 30 kilometers away from the island. Without hesitation, she grabbed the aircraft's railing and desperately climbed onto the top of the plane. The view of the thousands of meters of open air below was absolutely terrifying. She summoned strength 10 times greater than normal, gripped the plane's antenna, and inch by inch moved her body toward the fuel tank cap. The pilot cooperated by handing her a bottle of liquor to pour into the fuel tank. Just when success seemed within reach, the plane suddenly lurched violently, and the bottle was instantly thrown overboard. The fuel gauge was nearly empty. At this critical moment, the woman struggled to make her way back again. This time, she learned from her previous experience. She waited for the plane to stabilize before quickly biting open the bottle cap and pouring the entire bottle of alcohol into the tank. To keep the plane going long enough to reach the island, she poured a total of 5 bottles of liquor into the fuel tank. Just as she returned to the cabin to wait for a successful landing, she discovered that the island she had spotted earlier had mysteriously vanished. Without time to think, she decided to continue piloting the plane toward where she had last seen the island. 10 minutes later, the fuel tank hit empty again and the engine stopped working. At this life or death moment, the woman finally spotted the island she had originally discovered. The two quickly threw all the heavy objects off the plane to help it glide as far as possible, but the island was still too far away. The woman desperately tried to control the plane's descent, but after a violent crash, the aircraft plunged into the sea and they were both knocked unconscious. In this critical moment, the woman suddenly woke up. She frantically called out to the pilot, but got no response. She could only swim to the surface first, take a deep breath of air, then quickly dive back down to put a life jacket on the pilot and pull him away from the plane, finally dragging him back to shore. The moment the pilot breathed fresh air, he snapped back to consciousness. Just as they thought they had finally survived this ordeal, a wave crashed over them and brought them back to reality. Looking up, the woman realized this wasn't an island at all, it was just a sandbar exposed at low tide. They were now in the middle of high tide, and in 2 hours, this place would be completely submerged underwater. The woman helplessly looked around. How on earth were they going to escape this sea of death?